Find roots, A. Factorization method and B. Quadratic formula. So this is a question where many students face difficulty because of the square root. Either square root will be in the first and the third terms, or it will be in the middle term. So we'll try to solve both questions. So we are solving it by two methods. One is the factorization method and the second is the quadratic formula. So the main difficulty here is to be able to split the middle term such that the sum of the two terms that we obtain will give us plus 10x and the product will give us minus 8 root 3 into root 3 x square, that is minus 24 x square. So let us write here, the sum required should be plus 10x and the product should be negative 24 x square. This can be written as minus 12x into plus 2x. So if I multiply minus 12x into plus 2x, I will get minus 24x square. And when I add minus 12x plus 2x, I should actually make this as positive and this as negative, because in this case I will get a plus 10x because the larger number has a positive sign. Okay, with this in mind, let me write the equation as root 3x square plus 12x minus 2x minus 8 root 3 is equal to 0. When you look at the first two terms, it is not very evident what I should take common. Of course, the only possibility is root 3. But if you're confused here, move on to the next two terms and that will be evident. One of the two sets of terms, it will become very clear, because here I can notice that I can take minus 2 common. So let me do that. So I take minus 2 common, that leaves me with x plus, and if I take 2 out of this, I'll get 4 root 3 is equal to 0. So let me back check. If I multiply minus 2 into x, I get minus 2x. When I multiply minus 2 into plus 4 root 3, I do get minus 8 root 3. So this factorization is correct. Now, if I'm a little confused as to what to take common here, what I can do is, I will first write the bracket term, x plus 4 root 3. Because the bracketed term will be the same in both cases. And now I'll ask myself, what should I multiply this x with so that I get root 3x square? And the answer to that is root 3x. Now let me check. If I multiply root 3x with x, I do get root 3x square. If I multiply root 3x with 4 root 3, root 3 into root 3 will give me 3. 3 times 4 is 12. And then there's x, so I get 12x. So the factorization is correct here. So now let me take root 3x minus 2 as one factor, x plus 4 root 3 as the second factor. For root 3x minus 2 equal to 0 implies x is equal to 2 upon root 3, and for x plus 4 root 3 equal to 0 implies x is negative 4 root 3. So the roots of the quadratic equation are 2 upon root 3 negative 4 root 3. Okay, so this is using the factorization method. So let us move on to the second technique, which is using the quadratic formula. So if you look at the equation, we can say a is equal to root 3, b is equal to plus 10 and c is equal to negative 8 root 3. We know the quadratic formula is minus b plus or minus under root b square minus 4ac whole divided by 2a. So here x becomes minus 10 plus or minus under root b square is 100, 10 square is 100. So minus 4 into a is root 3 into minus 8 root 3. Okay, so root 3 times root 3 becomes 3. 4 8s are 32. And there is minus into minus becomes plus. So 32 times 3 is 96. So this becomes plus 96 whole divided by 2 root 3. So this is basically minus 10 plus or minus 196 square root is 14 divided by 2 root 3. So this would be x is equal to minus 10 plus 14 upon 2 root 3 minus 10 minus 14 upon 2 root 3. 14 minus 10 is 4, and then 2 cancels out, 2 by root 3, which is this root. This we have to further simplify. This I will straight away write as 2 by root 3. This term, if you look at this term, this is basically minus 24 upon 2 root 3, which cancels, giving us minus 12 by root 3. Now if I rationalize this, I would get minus 12 root 3 by 3. So 3 goes 4 times and I do get the same, minus 4 root 3. So both cases we are getting 2 by root 3 and minus 4 root 3. Alright, let's look at another question. In this quadratic equation, we have the square root term in the middle. In the previous one, if you notice, the square root terms were on the first and the third terms. Okay, so here we can notice that the sum is minus 3 root 5 and the product is 10x square positive. Now we have to find the factors of 10x square such that when we algebraically add them, we should get minus 3 root 5x. Okay, the key here is whatever you split 10x square into, each of those terms must contain root 5 because their sum should give us minus 3 root 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this into some root 5x and some root 5x. Notice when I multiply these two, I'm already getting 5x square. I need to multiply with 2. So 2 will feature in one of these two terms and that should give us 10x square. And I should also get minus 3 root 5. So if I put 2 root 5 here with a negative and I just put plus root 5x, let us check. So if I add this, okay, let me put a negative here also. So when I add these two, I get minus 3 root 5x. When I multiply these two, root 5 into root 5 is 5, times 2 is 10, and then minus minus plus. So I'm writing my quadratic equation as x square minus 2 root 5x minus root 5x plus 10 is equal to 0. So I take x common, I get x minus 2 root 5. I take minus root 5 common. Now I clearly can't see what I will get in this place. I know I get x here, but what do I get here? So blindly write what is there in the previous bracket, 2 root 5, and then we can check. Now multiply root 5 into x with a minus, you get minus root 5x. Then multiply minus root 5 into minus 2 root 5. The root 5s give us 5 and then times 2 gives us 10, minus minus plus, so it's plus 10 here. So the factorization is correct. Now we write this into two factors, x minus root 5, x minus 2 root 5 equals 0. So the roots of the equation are root 5 and 2 root 5. So this is using the factorization technique. Now what we are going to do is use the quadratic formula. So from this we can see that a is equal to 1, b is negative 3 root 5 and c is plus 10. X we know is minus b plus or minus under root b square minus 4ac whole divided by twice a. So x becomes equal to minus into minus 3 root 5 plus or minus under root. When you square this term, you will get 9 5s are 45. And when you do minus 4ac, 4 into 1 is 4 and times 10 is 40. So you get minus 40 here. All of this divided by 2a, that is twice. So this becomes 3 root 5 plus or minus root 5 by 2. So once add these two terms, so 3 root 5 plus root 5 is 4 root 5 by 2, that's 2 root 5. We can directly write x is equal to 2 root 5. And when you subtract 3 root 5 minus root 5 is 2 root 5 by 2 is just root 5. This is root 5. So again the roots here are root 5 and 2 root 5. So that is how you solve questions of this nature where either the square root is found in the middle term or the square root is found in the first and the third terms. I hope this helps. Thank you.